A man aimed a gun at my wife's face, hands trembling, eyes wide with self-importance, right there in our front yard, all because she had jogged past the HOA clubhouse without showing ID. Before we get deeper, drop a comment telling me which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this goes. What he had no idea, and what I would have paid to see on his face, was that the woman he was trying to intimidate with a cheap Glock replica was an active Delta Force operative who had just returned from a secret mission 2 days ago. She hadn't even unpacked her gear, and now she was staring down a wannabe cop holding a pistol sideways like some bad action movie stunt. I knew she could have disarmed him with a pine cone and a zip tie, but for once she gave the guy a chance to surrender. He didn't. That's when things escalated fast. We had moved here for peace. My wife, who once diffused explosives in the middle of a thunderstorm, wanted calm mornings, gardening, maybe even some backyard chickens. I just wanted fast internet and a finished basement for my cybersecurity projects. Instead, we got an HOA acting like a discount military unit. They called themselves the Home Safety Division, HSD. 4 matte black golf carts sat outside the clubhouse, letters stenciled on the sides, some with zip-tied blue lights on top. They looked like SWAT teams if SWAT had cup holders and gnome decorations. Initially, I thought it was a prank. Then I realized they were deadly serious. The HOA president, Karen Brewster, introduced herself on day 1 with laminated badges and 3 clipboards. Her permanent smile screamed, "No one has ever questioned me." She handed us a booklet filled with absurd rules, like grass must not exceed 2.75 inches, and residents should not appear intimidating while engaging in recreational activity. When I asked what that even meant, she smiled and said, "You'll understand when you see it." That's when I knew trouble had arrived. But my wife just smiled politely, acting as if she hadn't just returned from a high-stakes overseas mission. She was skilled at blending in and staying calm. Day 8 broke that calm. My wife went for her routine jog while I made coffee and logged in for work. 10 minutes later, a motion alert from our security cameras popped up. I first thought it was a delivery truck, but then I saw 2 HSD golf carts parked across the street, and my wife standing perfectly still, hands slightly raised. A man, maybe in his 50s, with a tactical vest and a cheap pistol pointed at chest level, was shouting about restricted jogging zones. It hit me, we weren't dealing with nosy neighbors enforcing lawn rules. These were armed cosplayers who thought they outranked the law. And my wife wasn't letting that slide. The man barked orders, trying to sound tough, but his voice cracked, revealing his nerves. My wife, Claire, didn't flinch. Tilting her head like she does in briefings when bored, she calmly stated, "Sir, under Florida Statute 79.10, brandishing a firearm in a threatening manner is a felony. Consider your next move carefully." He blinked, clearly unused to being challenged. "Don't quote laws at me. This is HOA jurisdiction," he stammered. Claire laughed softly. "The HOA doesn't outrank the U.S. Constitution," she said, steady and firm. "You pointed an unregistered weapon at a civilian on private property. That's attempted assault with a deadly weapon." 2 other men in cheap tactical vests flanked him, holding batons that looked like flea market purchases. They hesitated, unsure whether to help or back off. That's when I stepped onto the porch, coffee mug in hand. "Gentlemen, last chance to walk away before this gets ugly." The leader snapped at me. "Stay out of this. This is an official HSD action." Claire smirked. "Official?" Then, in one smooth motion, she moved. I've seen her train. I've seen her take down men twice her size in a blink. But watching her do it in our yard was something else entirely. She sidestepped, grabbed the man's wrist, twisted it, and in a heartbeat the gun flew across the pavement. With her free hand, she shoved him into one of his cronies, knocking both onto the grass. The third man, braver or dumber than the rest, rushed her with a baton. Claire ducked, swept his legs, and pinned him down, knee lightly on his back. Not a sweat. Meanwhile, the leader clutched his wrist, whining, "You broke it." Claire crouched, inches from his face. "No," she said softly. If I had broken it, you wouldn't be holding it now. Neighbors peeked from windows, phones recording every second. One whispered, "Is that Karen's crew?" That's when Karen herself appeared, clipboard in hand, screaming, "Arrest her. She attacked my officers." Claire brushed off the dust and looked Karen in the eye. "Your officers? Lady, they're about to become defendants." Just then, real cops arrived. Sheriff cruisers pulled up, lights flashing, dispersing the gawking neighbors. Deputies assessed the scene. 3 grown men in mismatched tactical gear sprawled on the grass, one whining, another face down under Claire's knee. "Drop the weapons," a deputy barked. "Already done," I said, pointing to the pistol 10 feet away. Claire calmly stepped back, her Delta training evident. Karen flailed her clipboard. "Arrest her. She attacked my hired security." The deputy frowned. "Hired security? Ma'am, these men are impersonating law enforcement. That's a felony." One man stammered, "It wasn't my idea. Karen paid us." The deputies cuffed all 3, reading charges: brandishing a firearm, impersonating an officer, attempted assault, conspiracy, and trespassing. Karen tried to flee, but a deputy grabbed her. "Not so fast. You're coming too. Or did you think a fake armed raid would go unnoticed?" Karen's face turned red. "Harassment. I'm the HOA president. Release me." "Ma'am, you're under arrest for solicitation to commit assault, conspiracy, and aiding impersonation of an officer," the deputy said. The crowd gasped, some even cheered. I leaned back, finally grinning. "You should have stuck to passive-aggressive letters, Karen." Claire handed me my coffee mug as if nothing happened. "Told you it wouldn't take long," she said. Watching Karen get shoved into the squad car was satisfying, but the aftermath was even better. The HOA board held an emergency meeting. Within a week, Karen was removed permanently. Pending felony charges, fines, and multiple lawsuits left her finished. Her hired thugs weren't faring any better, denied bail, facing years behind bars. The HOA's reputation crumbled. No one wanted leadership positions. Neighbors came by to thank us, shaking Claire's hand in awe. Many knew she served, but none realized she was still active Delta Force. I sat on the porch, watching the sunset. "Think they'll try this again?" Claire sipped her tea and smirked. "If they're dumb enough, I'll be ready." That night, the entire neighborhood learned the brutal truth: this HOA had picked the wrong family. From that day on, everyone knew not to mess with us. Every neighborhood has its secrets, and every Karen leaves her mark. If you love true HOA stories like this, make sure to watch more on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Thank you.